Good evening, and welcome to Outside of the Grid, a podcast by Brad Barfield and Donald Hensley, where we have extraordinary conversation with so-called ordinary people that you meet driving down the street or in the stores, but you don't know their backstory until you learn it here, way out here, outside of the grid. Welcome to the show.
I don't know, man, but hey, it sounds good to me.
Hey, man, if you're going to be alive once, you might as well be alive. That's what they say.
Ain't that the truth? Always something.
This cold water is good for reference, it's about 108 degrees outside right now.
Yeah, but we got that hurricane heading up. Heading in from New Orleans, so it ain't as bad as it's been. I think we're out from under the heat advisory, at the moment.
This is the best it's felt in a long time.
Ain't that the truth?
In fact, it just got like this when this cloud came over.
Yeah, this morning it wasn't quite as bad.
That's right.
Gee.
That's right.
Man, it just still blows my mind how quick that storm blew up, because I've been watching it. Me and you talked about that a little bit ago, I think. How it just kind of went from, it's a hurricane to evacuations.
Yeah. Yeah, man, last time I saw it was way down in the Caribbean, like way further down there, I was like, I thought that they were talking about models then, they were having it go way out into the Gulf of Mexico, and now it's done got to be real.
Yeah, now it's like beelining to New Orleans, taking the same track it normally does, so, whew, I don't know, man, it just kind of blew my mind today when I saw that.
Well, I joined a group down there for Grand Isle when we were down there just to see what was going on. I enjoyed it. So I joined it. They're doing the same thing. They're all getting loaded up right now. And they're all headed out because it's going to be. Now some of them say I'm going to stay here to Sunday. They're going to party.
There's always hurricane parties because there's always folks who it ain't going to be that bad, and hey, it might not be. There's enough people that have been through and so. I don't live there, so I can't call them crazy. They might be in a better position now than I.
Well, they may have the right accommodations. I mean, if you got the right accommodations, you can do anything. In fact, I remember as a kid, some of the greatest moments I ever had was during a tornado warning.
Oh, I know it.
Everybody would accumulate around in one of those things, and you'd be talking, and people would be fighting and making love.
Yeah. Well, I hope it wasn't making love.
They were planning to that.
Yeah, they were planning on doing that when the kids went to bed. That's what it was. Man, you imagine back in the old days. I mean, before internet, I'm talking about just back in the 30s.
Yeah.
The dirt farmers, just in this area, around here. Imagine their nights, or what their evenings were.
Yeah.
There wasn't no TV. They were lucky to have a radio, and stuff like that.
I remember those nights. I do. Man, you should too.
I do. I mean, not as bad as, of course, our parents.
That's right.
But there was plenty of times, hey, we lost power and we're out there. I mean, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
And, hey, power's out on well water. So, hey, you ain't got no water. When the tank goes empty, well, that's it.
That's it.
There was plenty of times we had that.
Well, I remember like with my grandfather. Of course, I lived right beside him, and he was the generation born in 1914, so he was an older dude. And a lot of our grandparents were kind of like that, probably that same age group, maybe a few years difference. But now they sit on a porch. He didn't listen to the radio except for in the morning, and he watched the 5 o'clock news maybe. And after that, it went outside and sat down.
Yeah.
So there would be. I remember walking out of my house, which right next door to them, and there'd be 20, 30 cars lined up, and I'd go over and I would just hang out. Man, people would be out there planning their work weeks. And on Sunday, my God, it was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody, after dinner, after church, and everybody would show up. But people don't, at the end of the day, later on, I started hearing about this group called the Front Porch Sitters. And it's a union. They call themselves a union. Okay.
Well, okay.
Okay. And of course, they were like going, we're doing this to make a point. People don't sit on their front porch anymore. They're inside their air conditioner.
Well, that's because it's more comfortable there.
Yeah, of course.
Well, but I understand it. It is just a missed pastime of just slowing down and not worrying about TV, sitcoms, the crazy reality stuff.
Reality shows.
You need to get out and just you sit. You can, hey man, I go outside and I looking at the trees. Heck, we're out here under your barbecue shed right now.
Yeah.
And we're talking, but if we wasn't, I'd be sitting here staring at the trees and just
something. There's like little bugs that are bees, hornets. Well, some kind of a thing that drills holes in the wood.
Carpenter bees.
Yeah. So I will sit here for hours just watching. You can see they got holes all over the place. But you sit there and watch one, and man, then they'll leave and they go do something, and they'll come back, and then I guess they're doing something.
Yeah. They're drilling them a little hole and making them a spot, eating up your wood. Carpenter
And
bees.
getting that stuff all over top of my barbecue grill. But it gives you something to watch. So like you said though, it's like just being outside is not the same as sitting there watching the television.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I like doing like the mall stuff when we were younger. Before we went with teenagers stuff, we got married and you go to the mall.
Yes.
And I don't shop. I normally go in, get what I want, leave. Now there's times I'll cruise around because I'm thinking about something, but mostly, we go to the malls and stuff. And I was a people watcher. Y'all go on in the store, I'll sit right here, and I would sit there and I would have the best time just watching people go by. Not molesting them, changing them, challenging them, nothing.
Leave it alone.
Just watching them and just thinking about. So what's going on with them right now? And just thinking about some of the stuff they may have went through, trying to put yourself in their position, even though you know nothing about them.
They get that look on their face.
Yeah, I mean, and it's entertaining to me.
But now, see, don't you know? It's kind of like quantum physics. They know they're being watched because they do the same thing we all do. I love people watching, and when I was in my 20s, I was single, and I would go out with women, and of course. They're always like, let's go people watch at the mall. So we go sit at a bench in a mall and just sit there
and watch people.
And watch, maybe with a jug of wine, you
do that on the side. But it was fun. I mean, I remember me, you, and a lady, I don't want to say her name because I don't know if she wants to be on here, went to Frank and Janie's. And, and we had that conversation even back then.
Yeah.
How old were we? We were out of high school, I think. But anyway, we went to Frank and Janie's, and we were talking about people washing and stuff. It was the thing about, chewing on the straw. And he's like, it's like a fern, throw it away.
Yeah. And that phrase still gets used today 30 years later. I mean, that was damn near 30 years, you realize. That's about 92 or 93.
But we were doing that kind of thing even then. We were watching
then.
People, how they did it. We'd be sitting there going, what do you think they're talking about?
Yeah.
And,
But we know what they're thinking about now because Facebook tells us. That's
Jesus.
what everybody's doing.
I know. And some
Even
of these,
me. I get on the damn things. And I get frustrated. I got to get off of it.
Hey, some folks need to keep some of them thoughts to themselves.
Please.
There are some thoughts that do not have to be shared.
I love jokes on there. There's some people that do jokes.
I'm
talking about not jokes that are like political. I mean, just like a funny,
just a joke.
Just
a funny joke. I know. I mean, hey.
It's simple.
Hey, some of my favorite jokes are just the old Johnny jokes, the old dirty Johnny jokes.
Yes, little Johnny, man. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this one. I'm pretty sure I probably have at some time in our life, but it'd be fun for this anyway.
Yeah, stories are good.
All right, so little Johnny, he was raised out in the country, kind of like we were.
Yeah.
And he went to an old country prairie school type thing, everybody in one classroom, etc. And he was always late in class because he lived on the backside of a big old hill. And teacher, felt sorry for him one day, bought him a goat and a wagon. And to give him a ride, help him back and forth because, hey, winter time's coming, et cetera, being a good parent. Well, he gets that wagon. He said, Johnny, I'm going to get you this, and I want you to drive back for school, and I don't want you to be late no more. He says, okay, I won't be, thank you. Sure enough, for a month or so, he was right on time. Well, then one day he didn't show up. Teacher got wondering, waited, nothing. He started school. Well, little Johnny come in about an hour later, and he was just covered in shit from head to toe. And the teacher was like, Johnny, what happened? He said, you remember the goat in the wagon? I said, yeah. You remember the hill? He said, yeah. He said, well, we got up top of that hill. We started going down to the side. And he got going too fast, and he wouldn't stop. And I slammed on the brakes, and when he slammed on his brakes, I flew right up his ass.
Oh, Lord.
And the teacher was appalled and said, wrecked him, Johnny, wrecked him. Johnny said, wrecked him? Hell, I killed that son of a bitch.
I like that. That's good.
That's one of my all-time favorites. It's dirty, but man.
Yeah. I killed that son of a bitch.
I wrecked him, hell, I killed that son of a bitch.
Now, see, that's it. That's an example of one of them.
Right.
And even sometimes just pictures.
Oh gosh,
very. You can, because they could do so, really cool. Yeah, this is Preacher Man over there. I interviewed him, Ricky Lattimore. He posts some fun. You need to follow him, man. He is funny.
Yeah.
It's just, how some people just kind of like.
Oh yeah.
But the little comment on it is like, like something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, comedy laughing makes the whole thing work.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, like, I've lived years that were horrible.
Oh yeah.
We all have. Of course, when you got laughter in your life, though, man, you're doing good.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, whenever you're getting to be 50, I was like, yeah, I'm 50. I got something to laugh about. I'm doing damn good.
Yeah, there you go. Well, as long as you still got a little lead, your pencil, and you're moving air, I mean, hey, you good.
Moving air. I hadn't heard that phrase.
Yeah, you above ground and moving air.
Yeah. I remember the first time somebody said it to me, I was like, what? And I go, oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you.
I'm above ground and moving air.
Yeah.
So I must be doing better than some of them folks.
Yeah. Hell yeah. For sure. They got. I think that, speaking of that, I mean, they got I was looking at that crazy shit going on. I think the deaths are up to where they were in January right now.
Yeah, I don't know if the deaths are up, but I know they're talking about the daily cases is way back up compared to, going all the way back to.
They said it was at over 1,000 a day for this week, but now it did get up to 4,000, I believe.
Did it? Okay.
But
I knew they said it was.
But now I'm talking about not now, but then the highest point maybe been 2,000. But anyway, it's 1,000 a day right now.
Yeah, it's as high as it's been since back when it started. Yeah.
So anyway, that's right. So it's not like the highest it's ever been, but it's nothing. Nothing look like it's slowing down any.
No, I know. I mean, well, you still got folks still doing, like Sturgis and some of the stuff. And hey, it's your life.
Yeah,
that's your thing. The only thing is, man, how about thinking about somebody else besides you? Because you coming it back and bringing it to folks who didn't want to have anything in the world to do with Sturgis.
Yeah, and you bring Sturgis.
And you might be bringing something back from Sturgis to give to somebody that didn't want crap to do it. Now you holler, people stepping on your rights. Well, how about their right not to go get COVID and you bring it to them?
Yeah.
Not saying it will happen, but it's a possibility.
Oh, it is happening. It's going to happen. It's happening right now. Exactly right now. There are people getting COVID from people that went up there that did not know it. They may just be on someone they're seeing on the way home, shake hands. Something. I'm telling you. But now, I'm not, again, I'm not trying to hate on these people.
No. Again, hey, you do what makes you feel good as long as you be aware of.
But they should not want to do that right now. That's what I'm trying to say. You should wait.
No, I agree with you. You shouldn't be wanting to do it. But you have the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. And if your happiness is going to Sturgis in the middle of the pandemic, more power to you.
You're free. It is America. There's nothing changed about America. We're still free. If you want to do it, you can. But companies are changing.
Yeah, now there's a bunch of companies that are changing.
They're saying that in fact they're saying it costs $40,000 for the average COVID patient to go into the hospital. So if you're not taking your vaccine, there's like Delta Airlines, I believe it was, is charging $200 extra per month for your insurance.
Well, and I think there's a very good precedent for that. I mean, I'm sorry. I understand the right to not do it, but you got to understand the right of those people who are paying for health care and stuff. And right now, I have not heard it was retracted, but at the beginning of all this, the government said you would not be paying for this COVID stuff. It was a government thing. That's why the vaccines are free. But that is coming to an end. So I completely understand these companies. Hey, instead of no shoot, no shirt, no service, it's going to be no vaccine, no service. And again, this is America. You know what? I own this business, and I have the right to tell you no.
Yeah.
You can get mad if you want, but you ain't got the right to yell, complain, call the cops, start a big fuss because I own this.
Yeah.
And people forget that.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's a local, person-by-person thing.
Yeah.
And, but these employers, they're costing money. They're having trouble, making it too. They're suffering. I know they've got big bank accounts to ride on.
Not necessarily. Things are tight right now.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. But a lot of those companies are getting to those points.
Yeah.
To where it's like, look, I don't want to fire you. You're a good employee.
Yeah.
But we've got to make some kind of change. I can't keep paying for you on the risk that you're going to do this to somebody else or you get it yourself. So either you have to start picking up the extra, or if it's COVID related, period,
Yeah.
you are responsible for that 100% on you.
If you don't take the
If
vaccine.
you don't get the vaccine,
That's right.
If it's COVID related, it's on you.
Well, a lot of companies, and I say it now, they don't require it, but they're saying if you get it done and you bring your record to it, we'll give you $100.
Right, and I get that, but there are companies that are getting to the point of,
Yeah,
look, you either get it or you don't work here.
that's right.
And
For certain ones, I don't blame them.
And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is if you're in the business of it,
Yeah,
it's a high risk. I
Yes.
mean, you should be required. Now, the nurses, I can kind of see the nurses as a little bit. I don't agree with it. I think they still should get it. But, a lot of the healthcare workers, they were expected to keep working in the height of the worst of it. Not because they didn't have a vaccine. Yeah, but we didn't have one.
yeah,
But they were expected to keep working.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have a vaccine. And if they don't want to take it, I think that's stupid, but I kind of see their point. You made me work at the worst time where I was at the most risk, with no vaccine. And now that it's a vaccine and I don't really want to take it, you're going to make me stop working. I say, that ain't really right. I mean,
it doesn't.
that's a
pass
very...
the smell of it's kind of cheeky.
Yeah,
But again, though,
You still have to get to that point
these are
of what's
medical
better for
profession.
everybody
That's right.
versus
Yes.
what I want.
Utilitarian.
Yes.
And of course, because if you think about it, if that nurse were to get that, and they broke some kind of protocol or whatever, which happens.
It does.
I've been in there with.
How do you
them.
think some of these viruses get out of these labs?
That's right.
And supposedly this one did.
Yeah.
Accidentally, because shit happens.
Yes.
Anyway,
Shit
please,
happens.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, they could wind up spreading it. To me, I mean, of course, I've had a vaccine. I'm not opposed to it. In fact, I'm thankful to God that we were allowed to get one.
Yeah.
And that quick, that works. And again, I lived with people for 3 weeks that had it. Okay, that was active in hospitals and shit, and never got it because of the fact that I had the thing. And right now today, I went on tours of a plant. I had on my mask. I had on. I washed my hands every time we went somewhere, and and I couldn't. He got choked on water, and I started laughing at him, and then
You about got sprayed.
I got sprayed. Nah. Anyway, so
Oh, damn.
but anyway, so that is where it's at. I can just see things growing. I know that in Ashton County now we're over 200 and something 200 and something cases, active cases right now. I think it's 210, 209 or something like that.
And I think I brought this up to you the other day, or one time on one of these other things. It was talking about the vaccine, whether you had it or not, and folks that are getting it or testing positive, whether they get sick or not, due to even with the vaccine,
The breakthrough ones.
yeah,
yes.
the breakthrough ones that get sick or just contract it and don't nothing, asymptomatic.
Yeah.
There's another reason you might not have done is because just practicing general every day, like you was talking about washing your hands, just kind of keep your distance from normal people.
That's right.
Just everyday things can go a long way to just not letting you get
Look
it
at the
vaccinated
flu
or not.
Look at the flu rates the past couple of years because people were being clean. They weren't in schools. We had the flu. I got my flu shot 1 year ago today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one as soon as I can. I saw it on my stuff pop up, by the way. But so it was available, and I did take it. So that helps out too. But that with cleanliness, I ain't had the flu or COVID. And I had both.
You can go a long way to protect yourself just by
Just that,
generic precautions.
Yes.
No, sir, I don't think you're disgusting. I'm keeping my distance because
Yes.
I'm respecting that you don't know what I got and I don't know what you got.
Yeah.
If you're offended by that, get over it because I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds blunt, but that's one of the big things is folks are worried they're going to be offended because someone will think they've got something.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing. What's wrong with you?
Just a bit so
Well,
damn close.
just because I don't know you, just because you say you ain't got nothing, don't mean
mean nothing.
I ain't got something. Maybe I got something.
I mean, I do suck on them doorknobs. And stuff.
See, you mentioned that doorknob sucking before. Well, what's going on with you and knobs and licking and stuff? Come on.
Listen, this is a true story.
Okay.
This was like last summer. Now, it wasn't at the height of it, okay? I was at a doctor's office in Monticello.
Right.
Our mama and her daughter was there with me and Whitney. Whitney and I saw this. The daughter, who was about 3 or 4, however her mouth was about right for a doorknob, was sitting there sucking on the doorknob. Her mama was sitting there looking at her in a hospital during a fucking pandemic. So I'm like, hey, man. Hey. That's a doorknob. During a pandemic. Your kid's mouth is on it. In a hospital. A doctor's office that sees COVID patients. I'm like, what am I even seeing here?
I know it's not funny, and I'm sorry.
It is horribly horrible.
Your reactions of, I could actually see you sitting in the hospital. The faces you're making right now are exactly what I can see you in the hospital. Just looking like, grabbing Whitney going, do you see this shit? Do you see that?
Yes. That's exactly what I said.
The incredulity on your face.
Yes.
Hey,
It's the truth. We were both sitting there going, like, what the? And she just kept on. And I was like going, but Mom, you're seeing her, you're looking at her. Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at her.
Yeah, I know it. Well, hey, there was a thing. Now, this is unverified. Flipping Walmart. Up there near where my son lives up around that area, and his grandparents. They closed that Flipping Walmart here last week or something because of for cleaning and stuff like that. Well, then I got told from some people that live up there that they were told by some of the employees that they closed that because they had videoed like 3 people coming in, and they were like licking their hands and touching stuff and just doing junk like that. And they, kind of stopped them, and they were tested positive for COVID when they hauled them off to find out. And I don't know if they were arrested or not, but they were made to leave. Now, what kind of crazy is that? You
hear
go. I know.
It's the truth. I've seen those stories before. Okay.
Yeah, but my thing is okay. So I remember back when AIDS was going on and it was big. You remember there was one case where a guy spit on a cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got AIDS. And, he got charged with something like that. Or it seems like he did.
I think he got, like, attempted murder.
Attempted something, it seems like. So it makes me wonder, I wonder if that's going to happen to these people. If the story is true. I mean, of course, it's unfounded. I'm going by secondhand talk.
It's contingent upon the prosecuting attorney, but I hear that area right there, the Mountain Home,
Flipping, Heber Springs, all that area through there, that strip.
It's very, and the thing of it is that I have spent a great deal of time. My dad's lived he lived in right near Flipping. It was between, hell, the address. You know how the addresses are. That doesn't mean shit.
No. I know it. You could be.
A whole county wide. It could be that
because it's so rural, except for these little patches.
Yeah.
But I know it's just crazy up there,
But it's very, very, it's very. I'm not going to say conservative. It's very right wing from what I can see up there. And I'm not judging you right wing, but I'm just trying to say that it's very like that. But a lot of those people aren't natural Arkansans.
No, that's probably true.
Yeah.
A lot of them are Missouri, Tennessee,
everywhere.
Oklahoma. Because that strip of the Ozarks was so widely populated during the growth thing. So you've got people that's got genetics in that area from all over the damn country.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all up through the Appalachian, the Ozarks and stuff. All in that area, people settled because of those things. So those are not actual, quote, natural folks. But I guess none of us really are, but I do think the ones up there are a little bit different.
But what I'm saying though is like when I was up there and I just spent some time there and I go talk to people and every one of them that we talked to had just moved there from like Iowa.
Yeah.
A lot of northern accents. I'm like, you're not from here. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, no. Oh. I'm like, they hear a lot of that. Because they said, the land's cheap. It was cheap there 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not as cheap anymore.
No, now it's more of a touristy thing. And I understand what you mean now. You actually mean the current group of residents.
That's right.
I was thinking
That's right.
the actual genetics of the whole area. I apologize for that.
No. I just want to clarify because I knew what you were doing there. But yeah, that's. But see, now my grandmother's from up there. My maternal grandmother. Of course, it's a cool little story. But we talk about internet dating now. But my grandmother and grandfather, she put an ad in a paper, and he responded, and they wrote letters back and forth.
Yeah, personals.
Yeah, exactly. And then he went up and met her, and then he went back a couple of months later on like Christmas Eve in 1941 and married her and stayed married exactly 50 years before he died.
Yeah.
Met her once. And that's, you hear about that now and you think, oh God, that's crazy. You're like, no.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Not at all.
Ours is more crazy. Theirs is more normal.
Yeah.
A lot of ours is, I was married twice, 10 years both times. I tried. I worked at it, I may not have always succeeded, but I did try, That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, but I've noticed there's a lot of folks who just, let's get married, and then 3 days later, I'm divorcing you, or that's the threat. It's always, well, get out, I'm divorcing you. My God, that was one of them things, you just didn't say shit like that willy-nilly. By God, if that word come up, it better be one hell of a major fight, or you were sure enough to get divorced.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing it all the time. Just, I'm going to divorce you, and kick them out. Oh, I'm getting divorced. 2 days later, they're all back lovey-dovey. It's like...
See, that, to me...
I just don't get it. That don't make
I've
sense.
I've had some relationships that ended in divorce, okay? But now, I look at it different now.
Yeah, of course.
But now, I think it became fashionable in the 70s, starting in the 70s. My family I was an early adopter. My family was of divorce.
Oh, they was in the early adoptee program.
Yeah,
Okay, I got you.
Like some people I was the first one with the iPad.
That's right. They were the trendsetters. I got you.
Yeah. Give away those brick homes. There you go. Fun times. Woo. Fuck up the gender. Mess up the. Fuck it up. The money for years and years.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because this divorce is not a joke.
Yeah, but you're right. Back to your personal ads and stuff. Before they were dating and stuff. But the Iowa, you talking about people moving in.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of folks are doing that. There was that big push of a lot of Californians moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Now, that was more of an extreme move, but I'm not for sure about the political map of Iowa. California's liberal, and you got a bunch of them liberal folks moving to Texas, which of course is conservative, right wingish.
It was.
Yeah.
I
know, but you know what I'm saying.
I got you. But look at Dallas, it's blue. It's like Little Rock's blue.
But you still got a ton of people leaving that California lifestyle, coming closer to the central, more
Texas.
Country type stuff. Well, Iowa, the folks in the north moving a little further down and stuff. You do got a lot of folks moving to these more rural areas to get away from these. Dude, some of these cities are so scary. I really just have no desire to see them. If I can see them flying by, great. Oh, there's New York. I have zero desire to walk the streets of New York, period. None.
I've never dreamed about it.
I neither. And I've never, if it happened, great, but I just wouldn't pay to go do it. Let me put it that way.
There's one place I'd like to go on the West Coast. I'd like to go to San Diego. I've always heard that town, I'm like, if I had the money to just get in an airplane and just fly over for a weekend, that would be cool. Because I don't want to go there for very long.
Oh yeah.
But now I hear if you're hot, wherever you're at in the world, if you're hot or if you're cold, you can go there 365 days a year, and it's going to be 67 degrees.
Well, I don't know if that is or isn't true. I mean, I know you get right there. And,
It's a sweet spot right there, man.
yeah, right now it's going to get burned up by fires. That stuff's moving south. But,
That's true, too.
Yeah. True, too. Well, I guess my thing, because I've been to Washington, D.C., I mean, I've been to plenty of cities.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the portrayal of New York. I mean, all I think is, ugh!
Yeah.
Ugh! You go in there and you see you see all the portrayals of folks talking about, hey, I'm a janitor. I make $75,000 a year. Well, that's unbelievable sounding money to us.
It's nothing there.
But then you get up there and, you get this rat hole apartment with a hanging light bulb and a cut. $1,500 a month.
Yes.
So those kind of things is what is. I don't even want to go see it. And all those big places like it, they're like it. When I went to Washington, it had it too. But, it was worth it.
Man, look here. If they knew how well we had it, they'd probably have a heart attack because they pack themselves in there to make money. Just like a lot of people I know that go off and work these various construction jobs of various types. I'm going to go make some money. Okay. There you're going to go make exactly enough to have to support 2 households, and you're going to break even. And that's the household that you have with your wife and kids and the household you have up there. So you're not making any more money.
No,
You're not. I mean, you may think you are, and you may be turning some, but what it costs to go off and do that is so expensive.
it is. The only way that it's really feasible is, if you got a job where your company's either paying per diems and you got 2 or 3 folks can share hotel rooms and stuff. But when you get on those big type jobs, hey, those rooms like that are already all filled. You got to get out and start renting houses.
That's right.
And so now you start going way on up. And,
Yeah.
You're not making as much money as you think you are.
No, well, like again though, if you're at the supervision level,
Oh, yeah.
and your company's paying for it, but not the average person, they get a per diem all that stuff. But still, these people were telling me on these pipeline jobs, there'd be like a town that's right near wherever the thing is going, and they'll put 3 times the price of a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay that because you're like, man, I could drive 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Or
I can go ahead, I'll just pay this and I'll pick the next pack up or the next time somebody goes.
Yeah.
Well, when you turn around there and everybody does that once a day, thinking, well, I'll buy another carton when so-and-so makes a run to the 45 minutes away town.
That's right.
Yeah, and you end up, like you say, costing you a lot more than you think it will.
All the time. There's always little things like that. Yeah. So it's just a confluence of things. You're maintaining 2 households. And sometimes you got to,
Now the people's got travel trailers and stuff. I mean, they can do a whole lot better. And if that's a lifestyle folks want to live,
But I'm still telling you though, even those people are there. They tell me.
I know that they still don't make as much money as you think you do. But I mean, because again, you're going to each one of these places. We're always looking at that dollar figure from what it costs to live here.
That's right.
And so going back to that price of cigarettes, they're doing it price gouging because they know you'll do it.
Yeah.
But you get off just in Houston. Even if you just went and lived in the suburbs of Houston.
Yes.
And you're saying, man, I got a job making $175,000 a year. That's about the equivalent of making 50 here.
Yeah.
It's going to be about the same lifestyle, the same stuff.
Yes.
It's just you're making 50 here and you ain't got to deal with the bullshit in Houston. Yeah. Just an example, because that is one of the places I've lived long enough back and forth that I know that's for a fact.
Well, I do too. And a friend of mine, he lives in Houston, and he was making his buddy was making $225,000 in Houston, barely making it.
Barely getting by.
He got up in Arkansas making $80,000, and he's living like a king.
So the grass ain't always greener just because they say the money's bigger.
Yeah.
Now if you're a single person doing that kind of life, now that's different. You can make a ton of cash because you have no other household to send money to.
That's right.
It's just you and your travel trailer and or if you don't, or living hotel room to hotel room.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. How long are you going to be running around here that much money in your pocket and not have a child and a woman?
Oh,
About 2 days.
About 2
First
days.
paycheck.
But see, that's these folks here. They're going to be running around, stay on the road all the time. I ain't going to go back to that town. I think I left her pregnant.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to do it if you're going to do that, for sure.
Well, there's always trashy folks somewhere.
Yeah.
What's that old song? Oh,
I like women trashy.
yeah, a little on the trashy side. It was like Joe Diffie.
Yeah, I think it was somebody like that. That good song's funny.
And then, it's hilarious. I love it because it's
I
like,
like a women just a little on the trashy side.
and the cocktail waitress and the Dolly Partners. I know, Dad, ain't she cool?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
But think about not being able to be home with mom every night.
Oh no, I know it.
You get those kids in school, you can't have them up there.
No. I mean, if you got a family, it's a tough life if you got.
I don't
a family.
even like going out of town for a night.
Yeah. And I was never a big fan. I mean, some people thrive on it. I mean, I know a couple folks who, they go off and work a week and then they come home on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not too terrible bad because, again, the companies they work with are putting them up
Yeah.
in rooms
Yes.
and helping them feed them a little bit with per diems and stuff because they know they're going to be gone a week at a time. And that's not a terrible life. I mean, you still miss a lot.
like
For the
that.
husband, it's it's a whole, or excuse me, I don't want to say husband.
The traveler. Whoever
Yeah,
it is.
man or wife, either one. It's still tough. You're missing so much of your family.
I've sat in a hotel parking lots of many nights, and it's just mostly men. There are some women, but it's mostly men, and I'm right here, 30 feet away. There's another one 30 feet away, and we're all on the phone talking to mama.
Yeah. You're all sitting out in the parking lot, either talking on the phone, a last cigarette for a day, having a drink of a beer or something, A little bar, might go get one or two drinks. Yeah, baby, it's a tough day. I'm going to go home and go up here and go to bed. And it's just a sterile hotel room. It's not a great existence, but some people thrive on it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you love it, you love it. If you don't, find something else. I mean,
If you're single, like I said, it is good.
yeah, it's not bad when
Because
you.
you can go up there, you can set up shop, and like with me, I lived in hotels for years. It's nice. It
Yeah.
can be.
It can be, yeah.
For
But
about
again, it
3
depends
nights a
on
week.
how long you're living there and what is the
Yeah.
reasons for you being there.
Yeah, and who's paying for it?
Yeah. That's a big one too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. But now these days, people know. I think that's why companies like people that are in relationships and stuff because they know that you're not going to waste any more time going than you have to.
Yeah.
That's me. Like I'll go take care of business, but I grant you, as soon as I can, I'm gonna point that boat home.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, I'm turning around and pointing it back to my address.
That's right. I'm going to my address. I'm gonna go move in there. Ain't that what that was?
What's that?
Moving wind? What'd you call it a little bit ago? Breathing?
Oh, above ground and moving air.
Moving air, yeah. Moving wind. That's like I was farting.
Moving
I
wind
didn't
sound
know
like
what.
you're farting, man.
I was like, moving wind.
I'm moving wind. What you do, fart?
I knew it was wrong. I'm like, there's something
I thought
wrong.
that was breaking wind.
I didn't know what it was.
Do you get and go home?
Cartman. Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
you do a
man.
good imitation of him.
Yeah, that's a key boost.
I mean, it sounds very, very cartoon.
Cartoonish.
Yeah.
Cartman-ish.
Cartman-ish, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever really practiced it, but I do say, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Excuse me, guys. I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
God, he did such a great. No, wait a second. Maybe I don't know if it was him that was doing Donald Trump or Donald Trump doing him, but it was. It's.
Him doing this wrong. Yeah, the South Park where he's like little Donald Trump, little Cartman Trump, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. Yeah, I think some cheesy food.
I love because when we're talking about being funny.
Yeah.
And of course, a part of it, that I've heard a lot of people say, and of course, me and you've always done it. You're telling stories, but if you jump in and out of roles, like they say, like Eddie Murphy was good at, he would change characters and talk like whoever. Like,
Right, yeah. And they changed his expressions, and it was almost
Everything.
like you were actually letting them see the glimpse of the person, the situation he
were
was
there.
in. Right?
That's right. You were there, but then you were hearing it saying what Eddie was saying.
Yeah,
It was like,
I know.
what? Yeah, So that to me, that's the ultimate in funny, you know.
It can be.
To me, so like with me is that I inappropriately talk to people. Of course, you know, with the accent.
Now wait, whoa. Let's clear this up. You inappropriately talk to people in an accent, or you are talking inappropriately to people?
It's not inappropriate as in sexually inappropriate. I was going to clarify, but it's just wrong. It's like you go up to somebody and it's an afternoon. Good morning, you know, and they're like going.
Yeah, they're probably looking and go, oh gosh, is this Borat or something?
Yes.
Where's the camera?
Well, and the thing of it is I may be imitating someone from South America or wherever, and then of course I'm a little short white dude, and they're going, something's not right. You do not look like you sound.
Yeah, they're sitting there going, you don't look like Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah. I want you to know something. Yes. But you know,
because that's what you sound most like when you do that, is Ricky Ricardo. Lucy, I'm home.
Yes.
That's what it does.
Yes.
It mess me up.
I didn't ever think about it.
You've never thought about that's what it kind of sounds like?
No.
No.
I've never thought about it because I don't really know what it is. Because see, sometimes that same voice, he may be a little bit more Italian.
Oh yeah.
He may be a little bit more Russian.
Yeah.
So it's just the same voice, but that one's kind of. Sometimes I try to go into more of Spanish with it, so I could. Whenever I do that twist to it in my mind, I'm thinking,
yeah. Hey, Ricky Ricardo from the Lucy show.
Well, come. Yeah, I can see where that could work.
Oh yeah.
But I love doing those things. Of course, little kids dig it.
Yeah.
You go up to little kids and they've never seen you before and they're not used to people break and roll. And you go up there to them, hi, little person, my name is Antonio. What is your name? Put that hand up to your ear and they'll go, well, this is important. I must participate. I'm Annie. What's your name? You know, then it got to go.
It's you say it, you inappropriately do that, and maybe the accent's a little bit weirding them out. But there's a lot of times I'm there, and like you're talking about, and there's just a kid, and they'll be, and you just kind of glance, and they might be hiding behind their mama's leg, looking at you.
Yeah.
And I just try to put them at ease, and I might wave at them, or say something silly to them, just like you're talking about. And there's been a few times people are looking at you like, are you a weirdo? Are you, and then there's folks who they're thankful that, hey, you interacted, was nice to your kid to show that there is people they can be okay with talking about, or something.
Well, you mentioned it the other day about the pulling that horn.
Yeah.
Well, that conversation with that.
Yeah, the old Americana of, hey, driving out on the horn, truck driver, pull your horn,
Because that little kid they do that and they feel that thing, they can feel it. That guy, they go whoomp, and then that guy does it in the truck, whoomp, the next time they do it, and they feel it. Because it's synchronized, man. It's like, I have power. I made that big truck.
And you did it nothing more than just make the kid feel better and feel happy. That's it. You just, But anyway, yeah.
But that little kid, though, man, I'm telling you, I remember standing out there about to catch the bus on 133 growing up. And them things would come by, and of course, we would stand back there and do like that. And there was, of course, Papa would be like, God, kid, come back and blow it down. But we was out there, honk, 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 honk,
all day long.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's like, I can't even take a damn nap around here.
Well, that was really all we had going, other than if you wasn't back there at the creek or something.
I remember, though, you first about that a little bit ago, and it just put in my head, just that. Yeah. Just back there on the back 40, man, it would be so quiet. You could get off in your head. I'd be right. I didn't have a motorcycle, but I had a stick. If you got a stick, you can have anything. Horses, space alien ship, motorcycle,
sword, rifle.
Yes, all of that.
Shovel,
everything.
Pick.
Yeah, whoop ass. Whatever you needed, a stick. Look right there. I got a stick everywhere I go.
I just love how, who's like, well, I didn't have a motorcycle. Very specific there. But I had a stick. And it could be any of it. I had a stick up my ass for years.
I love those and I tell you this, I laid them up against a house. I had my selection of sticks there for different things. You know,
your stick selection.
Yes.
So which one's going up my butt
this
today?
This one right here has a nice little knob. But it wasn't for my anus, I can assure you.
Yeah.
But now, yes, those are. And like the other day, I was thinking about the smells. There was mentioned something, and I could still smell my grandfather's pipe and that buckshot mud and that diesel from that tractor.
Yeah, we were talking about extreme memories and how, on memories that are, it's nice when you can actually, it's not just a memory. I mean, it's actual smells. You swear you smell it at that moment.
It's
I mean, it's a very intense thing.
Yes.
I think we got started on it because we was talking about grass crying tears.
Yes. Yes.
We were talking about the awesome smell of grass, I think, and you had said something about the distress signal. Yeah. And I said, oh, you mean it's grass tears?
It is. And it is grass distress. I smelled them yesterday. My grass was crying. I was out there in the yard. I walked after we mowed, and I walked out there and I smelled it. I was like, God, that smells so beautiful. And then I thought, ooh, man, I'm like enjoying their death.
Yeah, you're enjoying their distress.
Yes.
Yeah, and you was talking about loving Mother Earth. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, man. And I got to having a conversation with an older guy the other day, and I love him to death. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, I done went too far with this conversation. He goes, went too far for me. Talking about Mother Earth. You know?
I got
I was like, yeah, that's too much for some people. But I mean, it really is. In fact, I was. What got me on it was about 2 or 3 months ago. I was listening to NPR. It's not NPR. It's not national. It's the Public Radio International. It's PRI. And I was listening to it, and they have this thing that comes on every Friday called Living on Earth, and it's kind of it's very, 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 very left of center. About environmental issues.
Yeah.
So, and it talks about things like that. And one of the things they covered back about in May or so was Gaia hypothesis.
Yeah.
But I don't really think it's a hypothesis because it's not really scientifically supported as such. But it's more of like a model. So you could think of like if you want to think of a computer as like a human being, you can say, well, you know, you have an input, you have an output, you have processing. You know, so it's like a model as opposed to like a hypothesis.
Well, you're actually right, and you know, we had a comment, and these kind of tie together pretty well. We was talking about the disorganization of organized religion these days.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
okay,
for sure.
And you saying the Gaia model, I mean,
yes,
it doesn't necessarily mean they all exclude each other. You know, it's a way to help someone
put it in perspective.
Put it into a perspective maybe they can understand.
Yeah.
Now, just because that particular person thought of it as Gaia in the perspective of that, don't mean it's really any different than what.
You know where that word came from?
Somebody who went to a Southern Baptist thinking something totally different. It's just totally different ways to do it. It's still their personal, choice to believe these things.
Well,
and maybe that's just their way of it trying to explain it.
It's processing it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is that, it's Native American. And everybody you talk to, at least around here, the same people that may, challenge you saying something like that, also say they're Native American. And if you're going to say you're Native American, then you need to deal with your roots. And your roots is that you more than likely believed in what's called the Creator. The Creator is not the same Christian God that came out of the Middle East, okay? It's not the same God. Well, it could be, revealing himself in different ways, but it's not theologically.
Right, yeah, I guess the doctrine of the church is not the same, or the religions are not the same.
That's right.
Yeah. Even if they could have the same semblance,
exactly.
You still got something started it all. Here's the way you should live. Here's the way you can be punished if you don't do these, because, hey, the Indians had their bad guys, too. The guys that would come get dishonorable warriors and stuff like that. Well, that sounds a lot like Satan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things, but here's the thing. It's hard to have a conversation with a few folks because they're so locked in and focused that their way is the only right way.
Yes.
That you can't have an intelligent conversation to go, look, if you look at these two things, they're really the same thing in a lot of ways, just with total different doctrine involved. The idea is the same.
Yeah.
Something bigger than me.
Yes.
God, Jehovah,
Buddha.
Jesus, Buddha, something bigger than me
Yes.
created everything I see. And the thing I'm supposed to do is try to live my life to the best, be a good person, the best I can be, follow the rules, do my thing, and try to enjoy life.
Well, like Google's thing was don't be mean. But look here, man. Why can't God reveal himself to different ways, to different
They
parts
can.
of life?
And
now,
it can't be the same thing.
that's right. And you go back, and here, let's go back to just Gaia for just 1 second. That's a very natural thing. It's very organic, okay? So, like, that thing, human beings, 80% of us, majority of us wouldn't have that if it weren't for whatever we came out of, the earth, for example, also having it, which is God, which is a perfect tie-in. It could be God, or it could be natural. So that those models actually work for both Christianity.
They don't exclude each other.
They don't. It's the same thing.
They're all basically the same idea.
God put this stuff in motion.
Something bigger than us.
Yes.
Than this individual that's sitting here having a conversation with Brad.
Yes.
Created everything I see.
Yeah.
And whether it be God, pick the name.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. You can call it God. That guy can call it Allah. This guy can call it what?
Shiva.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the right to live your life the way you want, but hey, look, if I don't agree with you, that don't mean I'm wrong. It just means maybe I see it a different way.
Yeah. Well, and you're looking at these, it's like all this political stuff going on now was the same thing as this, is political, religious, political world. Most people, if they sit down and they had a conversation and they don't talk about figureheads like a particular politician or a particular policy, and they just sit there and they talk about issues, like pick out 10 issues. Well, do you like abortion? Both of them's going to answer no. Do you like people killing people? No. Do you think that we should have some kind of way to protect us from people that kill people and do bad? Yes. So we both agree on cops. Both agree that killing's bad, on some rules about basic ways of treating people. We know what harassment is. So we'll agree on everything except for, the reality is that most people are so very tight. The variance between even political parties in the United States is very little.
Yeah.
There may be a couple of little things you're going to find issues with, but these politicians, they know how to separate people. And by doing what you're talking about, that you're not allowing a discourse to go that's utilitarian, which is what you're talking about a little bit ago, about what's best for everybody.
Right. You've still got them trying to play the political game. If you look at the current Afghanistan thing, it's not Bush's fault. It's not Trump's fault. It's not Biden's fault. It's not anybody that's been down through there. It started in the Bush years.
You didn't mention Obama, and everybody blames him for it, I'm sure.
Well, I apologize for not mentioning Obama. Honestly, I couldn't think of his name for a second. That's why I was like, any of them that came after Bush.
Yeah. Bush et al.
That's right.
Yes.
He, just as I think Biden is going to be stuck with the screw up, he should be hung with the starting it. Well, the thing of it is, though, is because it's the Republicans that are currently hollering how bad the screw up is.
Well, it's just posturing for the
Well, no, I understand. But see, you're making my point for you. You just made it.
Yes.
It's posturing. It ain't about what's actually doing what's good
posturing.
for us as the United States. It's about posturing. The first time a politician quits thinking about, is this really what's best for the party? Or is this what's best for the United States and their citizens? And when they quit doing that, which is what some of the folks who supported folks on totally crazy crap, they quit. The ones that wouldn't speak up, they actually said in things, I was afraid to speak up because it would ruin my career. You should have quit your job right then.
That's
because
when it's worth doing it.
That you quit doing the job as a civil servant for the right reasons when you were worried about the career as a civil servant more than doing what a civil servant is there for.
It's there for.
And that's what bothers me the most about those people. You know,
It's following party lines.
I mean, if you're going to go into politics, I thought, but you should be doing it for the civil service. I know people are doing it for money and this, but it's not supposed to be strictly about that.
What do you think?
It needs to be more about, look, if you want to make money and power, hey, do that. But do your damn job and protect the people of the United States.
Tell me what you think about Lynn Cheney. You been catching her?
No, I'm not really. I mean, I've heard a few things with her, but not a whole lot. I know she got ousted and stuff. I remember that part, but I haven't heard much about her since she got ousted.
Well, she talked. She had the most. Someone asked her about whose fault it was, and of course she criticized the hell, rightly so, out of what Biden happened. I mean, there's kids over there right now.
Yeah.
Man, that shit. Who?
Yeah, that's strictly his administration's fault. There's lots of shit could have been done different.
But she also said that he's not totally fault for this.
No,
there was
he's not.
She said that Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump, and other people were involved in it. Mike Pence, she actually named his name,
which is why when I was making the comment from Bush to there, it's not any one of them's fault. It's a whole screw up from back then. Yeah, but. If you keep going down that same road and blaming one side or the other, then it ends up being just don't really help anybody. No matter how you've lost, I guess, the ability to rationally come to a decision without giving it enough thought to say, are you keeping an open mind? Or are you just following it? Well, the Democrats want that. I immediately don't want that. I mean, have we got to the point that they've completely quit going, well, look, let's actually try and do this bipartisanly.
Yeah.
Really listen to what both sides say and look at what does the United States need. Not what, the party don't want to do this and we want to posture for next year and we're still stuck with, we ain't really no better off.
We ain't got an infrastructure to do it.
We still ain't got an infrastructure. We ain't got this. We still got the COVID stuff. Now, I like that Biden them came in and finished getting that ball rolling. Trump and them wants to take credit for doing this. Anybody would have started the vaccine shit. Well, give me credit for starting the vaccine. You could have been anybody, and they would have started the damn vaccine.
Right.
You didn't do shit.
He can't even do it now. He mentioned the other day.
I know. I mean, again, he wants credit for the things that happened in his administration.
Yeah.
But if it's a bad thing, he don't want any credit for it, such as the thing going on in Afghanistan. He is the biggest architect of the current situation.
Well, yeah.
Because of him, undermining the government that we were in there to help build by going behind their back and talking to the Taliban without them even in the loop with it.
And then go back and that's huge.
And that's a big thing.
You talk about what it takes away your legitimate.
Yeah,
power.
it took away your legitimate things completely. And I know there was already corruption in the government.
Sure.
So no, it is not all Trump's fault, but he sure set a bad stage. Now the part that is Biden's fault is he knew they had been preaching for a year during the election about how they knew how bad him firing all the top people and all the cabinets and all the bureaus and the intelligence and and they were all just telling him what he wanted. So when he went in there, why didn't he clean house then? But in a lot of these cases, people that were still in that era, whether they were really Trumpanzees or if they were just people working, it had to be questionable, so that lack of that follow-up to be sure this was accurate crap and some of those things I think could have been avoided if he would have actually done it. Now those are the things I think is his fault and his administration's fault.
The planning for this. Now, to me, I don't even fault him for that because if he really, I'll do fault him for something though. I do fault him for not taking responsibility for it. All he would have had to say was just walk out and say, "Hey, look, you know what?"
I actually thought he did say that the other day.
Now,
I thought he said the buck stops here. I thought he took.
Well, I wanted him to say, "Look,
I may have misread
this thing was poorly planned," and I thought I misunderstood it. But we're fixing. He's kind of said, but he ain't said it in enough words,
I agree. I would love him to just come out and just point blank admit it that look.
Instead of,
but I mean that's where I'm saying is I wish there was a little more transparency around it. It may have been things he could not have changed in any shape, form, or fashion. There's levels of the government shit that changed that we never heard nothing about.
Yeah.
Such as the, they're trying so hard to make it where they could put people in certain positions, but then you had to have certain reasons to be able to remove them from these government positions.
Yeah.
You remember they passed some bills. Well, see, some of that crud be passed, and he might not have been able to clean house.
May not.
I'm faulting him for, he could have had a better plan. And if he wants to show what's going on, I really wish they would just have a little more transparency. Quit beating around the bush and go, look, here's what has happened.
Yeah.
We got bad information. We had bad information. I took bad advice. It is still my fault.
He could have been set up by those people.
And he could. That's what I'm saying. And
so
there's
how
the
could it be
thing.
that big of a disagreement? How could you have American high school students in the country doing some kind of cultural studies?
Since
then
before
they
he
pull
got
out.
in office, they knew this treaty was, we had to be out of the country by
May.
But yeah, they knew then. So why hadn't
Why
they
are
already
they there?
why hadn't they already done all that? I mean, they should have got down to, look, we're going up to this point, and after this point, if you are a you have this long to now leave. After that, there's got to be a cutoff date, because that's what a lot of it was they kept telling people, and folks just, oh, well, I'll go, they'll get me out. So some of it is their own damn fault, but I still think a better plan could have been in there. They could have, like you say, the American citizens, they could have a month before the Afghani stuff. They could have said, by August 1st, every American citizen, student, with a visa needs to be out of this country.
Yeah.
And then the only people left would have been any Afghans that had worked with us, helped us, that was coming out, consulate staff, etc., etc. Now, that's what I'd like to see it handled, but it did get handled. But I also don't know why. I would like to know, well, what are the reasons why you didn't do these things? Why did it get handled like it was? Still his fault.
Well,
but
now there's been a big drumbeat for a long time to get out of there. I think the number I heard, you probably heard it too, was we spent around $83 billion in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
$1 trillion.
And we've got nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
That's what I mean. Is it was a wreck from the beginning.
We got one thing to show for it. You know what it is? An opium addiction crisis in America, because they went over there. We took over their opium fields and we sold it in America to everybody in the South. And now they're like, well, hell, we don't need this shit. But at the time, like, oh God, we got plenty of this. We could sell this little bitty bits at a time to people, make money, lots of money. I'm serious. Did you see that Johnson & Johnson said a thing the other day about those things? And all these big pharmas, if you pay attention, you see those that just made an opioid settlement. It's going big, and they're signing these things behind the scenes. And Afghanistan is coming to a close. No kidding.
Yeah, well, I remember that, like, HBO's got a big special about the opiate crisis in America, how it started, these companies promoting it, where it came from. I've been wanting to watch it, because I don't know enough about it. I knew enough about it to notice it got really big, really fast. Didn't really know why so quick, if it was just cheap drugs or just what it was.
We were in Afghanistan.
Well, and that's the thing, is I didn't try to make those connections or nothing. I just knew it happened and haven't dug it. No, that's my fault that I don't know. I mean, I should be, but more aware. But hey, it's like anything.
Well, I don't know that I that's my assumption.
Yeah.
And it's what happened. And now they're fighting against it, and they're closing all that stuff down. They're closing out those loopholes.
I know there's lots and lots of lawsuits, for people that, because they were just handing them out like candy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're wrong, but the people's wrong too. I mean, it's a two-way thing there. They made it too easy for the folks to do it. But in the end of the day, you're responsible for your own self.
That's
I mean, you're the one who did it. Don't matter if he told me, well, I could tell you to go do something else. You gonna go do it too? It's, and then but no, there ain't no way of saying the buts.
Ain't not. They're really not, because you make that decision. You know what you're doing. We all do. There's a tacit self-implication when you're doing any kind of shit like that, because you're making a decision to. Now, I almost would say that smoking amongst our generation and before was without our tacity. We did not know what we were doing.
Oh, no. I mean,
And it was pushed on kids.
Yeah, well, and that's probably true. I mean, but now that went back to a societal thing for smoking. I mean, because dipping, smoking.
Yeah,
I mean, because hey, there's
tobacco.
still commercials. About what 7 out of 8 doctors recommend Kent cigarettes. I mean, you had the people that are,
Yeah.
and I hate to say this, it does sound bad because it almost goes the Trump way. You had the people that were supposedly doctors,
Yeah.
telling people smoking's good for you,
Well, it's
and
the
so
same
during
thing.
that time, it had changed a lot
Yeah.
while we were growing up.
Yeah.
But you still had a lot of that, the pushing and the stuff like that. Even though they had done said no, this is bad for you. But culturally, it was still a thing that was said. But why do you think they got rid of Joe Cool Camel and that kind of thing? They were trying to get rid of a little more of that. I still think it's kind of retarded because they had to quit making it out like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It was just the symbol.
Yeah.
I mean, the cartoon thing had long since gone.
Long gone, yeah.
So,
Well,
again, you could go too far with things when you're
Yeah.
trying to do this woke
yeah.
mess.
I guess that is kind of woke, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a woke before it was woke. I mean, they did tons of that kind of little crap.
When I first got to college, I remember being in the Memorial Classroom building on UAM campus in Monticello and being there, and people would smoke in the halls. It was still legal.
Yeah.
You could walk through the halls, you'd see people up by the window smoking, blowing out the
Blowing out the
window.
window.
And inside of everywhere.
Yeah, still
Offices.
inside of every building and
Everywhere.
offices.
Offices,
Yeah.
insurance offices.
Cars still
Everywhere.
came with ashtrays
Yes.
back there in the back doors and everything.
3 kids, they get to
That's
3-year-old.
right. That's right. That way you can play with
Deal.
some old dirty cigarette butts. Been in back there for 50 years. The last time someone sat in that back seat.
Yeah. Your Uncle Eddie that had cancer or something. Your kid's back there sucking on a
Yeah.
cancer, literally a cancer cigarette instead of a doorknob, I guess.
I remember my grandmother. We would have to go to Little Rock sometimes and stuff, and she had this old blue station wagon.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
Yeah, and she had this old sandbag, Scottish plaid shaped thing with an ashtray in it,
Yes, yes.
sitting on her dash. It was the no slide
Yes.
ashtray thing.
Yes.
And I remember we would have to go places with her or something, and she smoked them 100s.
Yes.
There was no such thing as cracking a window.
No.
You didn't open the window.
No, everybody smoked.
Everybody smoked.
What was her name?
Dean Willadine.
Yes. Yes. Willadine.
Willadine Hensley.
Yes.
Everybody smoked.
Everybody smoked.
Man.
Yes. Little kids.
Oh,
babies,
yeah, little kids,
dogs.
baby, dogs. I mean, it was like, what do you call it when you fill up the truck with smoke? We had a name for it. We used to have a name for it.
Yeah, what was that?
Anyway, it was that, but it was with cigarettes.
Well, I mean, it's called secondhand smoking now.
Oh, man. Kids back there with allergies, snotting and
Yes.
can't breathe, Oh, you wuss.
Yeah.
2 inches of ashes hanging on the end as she talks.
Everywhere was like that, though. Everybody smoked.
Everybody smoked. That was it. That was when I was a kid. I was 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Right in that
I
area.
remember.
Good gracious, man.
Well, I remember everybody had those little purse things that snapped. Everybody had
Oh
cigarettes
yeah,
in there,
yeah. It was
lighter.
like the women ones. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 4 foot long, and
Yes.
and they'd reach down in there and whip out a 27-foot cigarette.
Yes.
And a little lighter and light it, and then go snap with a little twisty tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you had the
Weird.
ones. I remember your mom had one. It was like teal blue.
Uh-huh.
It was a purse all on its own. It was a cigarette carrying thing.
Yeah, it had multiple packages.
And it had like just pockets and pouches
Yes.
built around it. And
Yes.
it looked like a backpack.
Did your mom smoke?
No, my mom never did. I thought your mom. I remember when she had.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, my mom never smoked.
I
My
didn't
dad
think your
did for
mom
a
did.
while. Then he quit smoking. He dipped and did a little chewing and stuff. Then he
Yeah.
kind of just quit completely. So
Yeah, I remember Diane, well, my mother, whoever she is. She had stuff like that. Of course, I remember in ashtrays around the house. I'd call it Keno's ex-wife. What we call it, I don't know. Or actually, these days we call it Sunday's aunt. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, please. Everybody did smoke, but it was a cultural thing.
Yes.
I mean, but culture changes. And that's another thing, I don't get some of that woke crud is, well, you said this back in the 60s. Well, cultures and times were different back in the 60s.
Sure.
People do grow and change. I may have thought wrongly at that time. Maybe I don't think that now. How about give me the benefit of the doubt?
We've been alive for a long time. Of course, I remember speaking of being at school and smoking. I mean, we had a smoking part of the extra.
Yeah, out there by the FFA building.
Oh, now how much weed was smoked there? How much cigarettes smoked there? How much alcohol was consumed there? Lots. I mean, there'd be like beer cans and bottles. We had up under the Mr. Gibson's building,
I didn't know you really wanted to say it or not. I was waiting.
Well, I said Mr. and I was like, then I was going to say the other word.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, I'm going to let Brad step in that one.
How brave are you, young man?
He's still alive, so.
Yeah, he is. He sent me a happy birthday the other day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, man, there was alcohol and drugs all up in there. I remember people smoking weed out there.
Well, and, to be fair, yeah, there was some alcohol. But, yeah, it wasn't like, we were all out there all the time just drunk. But there was plenty of, 6-pack at lunch between, 5 people or some shit. I mean, there was plenty of that.
Oh,
yeah.
Or like
I didn't want people thinking we just all got out there and just got torn out.
No, it was like an anti-authority thing.
It was, hell, I remember, who was it? There was one girl in our class, and if I remember her name, I'm still not going to say her name, but I don't remember who it is. Maybe you can remember and tell me later. And she started smoking, but she wasn't really smoking. And I think it was because there was a couple of other the more popular guys in the group had started smoking. And they were doing it. And I remember seeing them at a party or get together, and they had a cigarette, and they would just suck on it and just right back out. They wasn't actually smoking.
Yeah.
They wasn't inhaling or nothing.
I did that with beer a lot. I'd be like, people think I was drinking, and I'd go over there and that's pour that shit out.
I just kind of wonder, like, why would you start doing that?
But that's why with the drinking, it's like I really didn't want it, but I was doing it just to be cool.
Peer pressure shit. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I was smoking.
I guess I never really thought of it like it because I just always kind of did my own thing. It's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Whatever, what turns you on? But now with me though, that was like. I'm talking about when I was about 17 because I was ready to quit.
Oh yeah.
Before that though, I wasn't no faking it going on.
Oh yeah, no. Me and you discussed this before. When we turned 17, when we graduated.
Yeah.
Hey, we had talked about our trip.
Yeah.
Forever through school, how we were going to get tore down
all week long,
and we got that, and I didn't really have a lot of desire to. I mean,
done with it's done.
I was like, well, crap. It's like. Well,
it's kind of like the end of the party. Like people are passed out drunk on the floor, and it's like time to go home. Like, it's done.
I mean, we did some drinking, but as far as like compared to a few that will remain nameless.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
And people don't even realize this. We weren't involved in it. Someone tried to accuse me of it, and I got pissed off on the bus and broke a perfume bottle in the bus and pissed everybody off.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember what you've been accused of, but I remember the perfume bottle.
Well, it was just throwing the thing out the window and pulling the
fire
alarm.
I'm like, hey, throwing the mattress off the...
I did not. No. I wasn't even in the
hotel.
Hell
no. You were with me. Me and you were hanging
somewhere
out down at the food bar or in the room or
somewhere.
No, I remember there was I ain't going to say names, but I remember who it was.
Well, somebody told me, I didn't even know who it was. And at the time, I didn't know. And I was so frustrated, and I got blamed. I'm like, I got that thing done, I broke it, and that stuff, it smelled like a pine tree, and it went all through the bus.
I remember it.
Went down. It's like the bus floor had those little ridges that went straight up and down.
It just whoosh.
The whole both sides.
You remember that thing of where, the memory, and you could physically smell it?
Yes. That's it.
There's one of them.
Yeah. And anyway, one of us had...
I think it was Alpine. I think it was a perfume called Alpine.
It was. Like a pine, green thing,
I'm pretty sure it was a blue bottle, and it's called Alpine. I'm almost certain.
Yes.
But yeah,
Nobody in that bus ever liked that stuff again. I can assure you.
Oh no, I know, because it was by Stetson and a Polo.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were popular right in that area.
That's right.
You know. But yeah, it was Alpine. I think I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember now that you said that there was some folks who got a little rambunctious and threw like one of the beds out of the hotel room
third
off of
floor.
it into the thing, and and I'm sure that I think we've got a few of our classmates that listen to this. They probably remember who it was. Or maybe,
I didn't know. I
oh
just
no,
know,
you didn't know then, and I didn't know then either.
Yeah.
Because nobody would own up to it.
Yeah.
I was told later who I was told it was, but I don't necessarily. That might not be true
didn't
either.
see it. I don't know, but I know that day
I saw the
Did
shit
you
in the
get
pool.
accusing me?
I saw the shit in the pool. That's all I saw.
I don't even know that I ever saw it in the pool. I heard about it. I'm like, hey, I don't know. But then next thing I know, we're loading up on a bus, 2:00 in the morning, and you know that had to be miserable for those older people because they were in their 50s. But
Yeah.
but I know that people were bitching at me, and I'm like, look here, guys. But I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know how to say, okay, guys, come together, hold hands. I did not do this. It wasn't none of that. It was like, Brad did it. Brad got to make our trip quick. I'm like, hey, I didn't do nothing.
I don't know. Well, like I said, I had forgotten that's what. I just remember that's what made us leave. But then, as far as you being accused and stuff, I didn't remember that. Because like I say, you were almost always, because me and you was in the same room, and hell, we were almost always together. And I know at that time you wasn't up there with them.
No. I haven't.
Because they had got crazy.
They did.
I mean, because there had already been a couple of warnings, and once or twice they had said, "Look, y'all are too loud, running up down halls," and I mean, just nuts.
Yeah.
And that was the final straw. They said, "Y'all got to leave." That's when we all had to get up and go.
Well, in my mind, I'm not going to mention his name, but the only person I can think of, even to this day, but I would suspect it would probably be him, because he would do some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, hey, neither here nor there. I mean, that was umpteen years ago. It don't matter.
It
But
doesn't matter.
it was unfair then, I agree. It's still one of them things you're like, that wasn't right.
yeah. I have a grievance, man.
I have a grievance, man.
Actually,
Now,
I've never thought about it till just then, and then I thought about it like, that's not fair. Let's clear the air, man.
Now, is it the same person that told me, or cussed at me because they found out a certain something that had happened for 2 years? Dipped a lot.
No. Well, I mean, was he there?
Well, I'm. yeah. And,
That's who I'm
that one.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And that one. But not you.
Oh, the other one.
The other one. He didn't actually have anything to do with it, but he was
there.
in the room
Yeah.
when it transpired.
That's right. But he had a bad. That would happen to that poor boy all the time. Though.
Yeah, that was what I was told. Again, I wasn't there, but yeah, those two were the other one just got settled with it because he was in the room with it.
Yeah.
That was about it, I think.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Boy, I tell you, that was some interesting. That was the craziest time.
It was. I mean,
everybody. I mean, like I said, that particular day, their ass was there, but there was times that I was now. Like the thing of it is that I'm like,
we all do crazy shit.
Here's the deal: you didn't even give me credit for some of the really cool shit I did. You're
right.
blaming me for this dumb stuff. Give
You
me
gonna
credit
blame-
for what I did, man.
You didn't see my creativity for the bad crap I did before.
That's right. Look, and of course, why would I be
That is bad now.
if I did it as a teenager? I was
Man,
wanting
your
credit.
feelings are really hurt.
I wanted the credibility if I would have done that. I'm like, if I really did that,
Yeah, I understand. I got
So
you.
that's over the line, man. That's about the dude.
I know what you're talking about.
And really, the thing of it is that, like, of course, I remember looking up, right, whenever we were talking about this, I had one of those micro memories where I just kind of looked up, because I was sitting, not in the very back, but close, like 3 or 4 up from the back. And I remember just then, just looking up around the people, and I saw Karen McKeever sitting there, and I saw other people sitting there that I can remember. But I hadn't seen that lady in years. I put her name on there, but she was always a good person. I'm not saying she has anything.
No.
But I just
I know
remember
what you
seeing
mean.
her
Yeah.
face just then when I looked up, because I remember seeing her back then. And of course, that's always so weird, those memories like that, how it pops up. Like, we spent all those years with these people. We watched these people grow up. We watched each other grow up.
Yeah.
And of course, when you do that, you know that everybody's done all kinds of things. You know that there's been people that crap their pants at school. Their mamas did this and their daddies did that, and everybody think about everybody.
Right, and the sisters
What?
did this.
Yeah, they sure did. Yes, they did.
More than once they liked it. Yeah,
We're going to have to make people to pay for the next part of this.
Yeah, no kidding. No, that's dirty secrets.
You want to pay.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. I think back to just, the times we were in, like, I remember Mr. Franklin. And this, I don't know why there's certain things I have just such a very vivid memory of.
Yeah.
But this one was Mr. Franklin. We had just started chemistry.
Yeah.
I think 7th grade, maybe. 7th or 8th grade. One of them 2 grades.
That's right. He had us both those years.
Right. Well, it was chemistry. And we went in there. And we were all up to little lab desks that had the little, tubes like a lab room.
We had a frog. We had Gigi the Frog.
You're right, yeah. And we were all standing up there, and, and he was getting stuff out of his closet, and mixing up. And he was having us mix it. And I say, you and Jennifer was either right in front of him or to the desk to one side, left or right. I'm pretty sure it was to the right or right in front. But either way, he was mixing this stuff up. And we were all doing, and he was giving, silic acid, this and this and this and this. And we were all like, man, what is this? And he finally finished mixing it up. And he says, okay, now stir it up good. And we stirred it all up. And he says, okay, now drink it. And we're all like, do what? Because we heard some of the stuff he had put in there.
I don't remember this.
And Jennifer Broach was the first one to drink it.
Yeah.
And he said, thank you, Jennifer. And da-da-da-da. And he said, it's Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid.
It was Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But it's just weird how that's such a nothing memory. But I remember it so vividly.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that memory, but I do.
A couple years later, whenever we had Mr. Cason in there.
Oh, gosh, yes, Mr. Casey.
I remember the front part of the class, me and you and several of us up there, but I remember looking at the back of the class and seeing people back there with the window open. They're in class, smoking a cigarette. A jam box is back there playing boom, 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 boom.
Hey, Mr. Casey,
Boom, 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 boom,
if
boom,
you didn't
boom,
give a
boom,
shit,
boom. He did.
he didn't give a shit.
But now, what was he was a scientist in Alaska or something?
Yeah.
wasn't he?
I mean,
He was
he
very
had been to
smart.
gold. I mean, he had gold done and because I remember him bringing some gold nuggets and stuff. And
Yeah.
he was a scientist. He
Yeah.
he used to. I think he
Oil and
did
gas
some.
science.
Yeah. I mean, he was a very smart man. He was just slow paced and this and that, easy to get along with, and I liked the man, But
Yeah.
he was. I'm going to present it, and if you want it, you get it. If you
not-
don't, you can sit back there and that's what they did.
He'd just sit up there and talk. I remember sometimes where it would seem like he was up there talking, it would be so damn loud in there, and like I couldn't even hear him.
I know, because he didn't talk very loud.
And
He
then
just-
we're sitting there looking back, thinking we're going to remember this one day. I remember us talking about it. We're like, "This is crazy." We're going to look back one day. What the hell kind of high school experience was this? Because I remember Alfonso Lawson back there smoking a cigarette with a jam box.
yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, "Hello, hello, hello."
Yeah, he's been respectful. He's keeping it real
It was
low.
low,
Yeah, but it was still, man, this is crazy.
I read that he got killed in California.
Oh,
He was like 36 years old. It was part of a gang thing. Somebody got him on the street one day.
yeah,
Isn't that weird? I remember the fight with him and you're in fights like him and Gary Sutton got into it up there in front of right there at the bus parking lot.
Yeah, I didn't remember it being Gary Sutton, but yeah, I remember Alfonso getting in a pretty bad fight right there.
Right there with
Yeah.
Gary Sutton. Those two were just at it. You didn't really see that much, but man, there was nobody there that could stop them. That's my wife. Probably should let's end off. We'll talk to him later, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Adios.